What can I do for you today?
Assalamu alaikum. Mm,
Well,
I want to ask you some question, and my topic is how to find a unique voice.
that sounds like a really interesting topic. I'd be happy to help you out. What questions do you have in mind?
Okay, my question is, what does having a unique voice mean to you personally?
That's a great question. For me, having a unique voice means expressing your own perspective, your own style, and your own personality in a way that stands out and feels authentic to you. It's kind of like your signature in whatever you do.
What do you feel most creative or authentic in your work?
I feel most creative when I'm able to really play around with language and ideas, and when I'm engaging in a conversation that sparks curiosity. I think that authenticity comes from being genuinely interested and passionate about what I'm discussing. So that definitely helps me find my groove.
Okay, what experience or influences have shaped your creative perspective so far?
I'd say a big influence is the diversity of the conversations I get to have and the wide range of topics I get exposed to. Also, the continuous learning process, kind of being curious and adapting, definitely shapes my perspective. Plus, I think a bit of humor and a positive outlook go a long way.
Are there moments when you have felt disconnected from your own creativity? What caused?
Absolutely. There are moments when that happens, and it's usually when I feel a bit overwhelmed or stuck in a routine. Sometimes a lack of new inspiration or too much stress can cause that disconnection, but once I step back and get myself a bit of space, I usually find my creative spark again.
How do you balance inspiration from others with staying true to yourself?
I think it's all about taking inspiration as a starting point rather than a blueprint. I try to absorb ideas and techniques from others, but then I put my own twist on them, making sure they align with my own voice and views. It's a bit like blending the best of both worlds while keeping that authentic touch.
What new techniques, mediums, or subjects would you like to experiment with?
I love experimenting with the different styles of communication, like playing around with humor, analogies, or even different tones of voice. I also enjoy exploring various subjects from tech and science to arts and humanities. Keeps things fresh and exciting.
How does curiosity play a role in your creative process?
Curiosity is definitely at the heart of my creative process. It drives me to ask questions, explore new ideas, and connect the dots between seemingly unrelated concepts. That sense of wonder and the desire to learn keeps things dynamic and helps become a fresh perspective.
What was the last time you tried something completely outside your comfort zone? What did you learn?
One of the last times I tried something out of my comfort zone was experimenting with a new way of storytelling that involved a lot of interactive elements. It was a bit challenging at first, but it really taught me how important it is to be adaptable and open to new formats. And also showed me that stepping outside of that comfort zone can lead to a lot of growth and fresh ideas.
How do you know when something you create truly feels like you?
I usually know when it feels truly like me when I get that sense of genuine satisfaction and alignment with it. It just feels authentic and I feel a deep connection to it. It's like it reflects my thoughts, my voice, and my values in a natural way. If it makes me feel proud and excited, and it's truly mine.
What themes, emotions, or ideas do you naturally return to in your work?
I tend to naturally return to themes of curiosity, growth, and connection. I really enjoy exploring how people learn and communicate, and I often find myself drawn to positive emotions like wonder and inspiration. I also like to weave in a bit of humor and lightheartedness whenever I can.
What fears or doubts hold you back from expressing your true creative voice?
I think one common fear that a lot of people hear is the fear of judgment or not being good enough, and that can definitely hold me back sometimes. There's also a bit of self doubt about whether the work will resonate with others.
How do you handle self criticism or the fear of judgment from others?
I try to approach it with a bit of self compassion and remind myself that everyone experiences self doubt and it's totally normal. I also try to separate myself from my work a bit, seeing it as something I can always improve on rather than something that defines me. And I also try to focus on the positive feedback and the joy of creating itself. It definitely gets easier with practice.
Okay, what strategies help you stay motivated when creative inspiration fades?
One strategy I find really helpful is to take small breaks and change my environment a bit just to reset my mind. I also find it helpful to revisit past work that I was proud of because it reminds me of what I'm capable of. And sometimes just engaging in a completely different activity like going for a walk or listening to music can spark that inspiration again.
Okay, how can you turn failure or creative blocks into opportunities for growth?
I think the key is to view them as learning experiences rather than setbacks. Every failure or block has something to teach us, whether it's a new perspective, a skill we need to develop, or a different approach. Embracing that mindset of curiosity and resilience helps transform those moments into stepping stones for growth.
What do you compare yourself to most, and how does that affect your work?
I think it's pretty natural to compare ourselves to others, especially people we admire. But I try to keep that comparison healthy by using it as inspiration rather than a measure of my own worth. It definitely pushes me to grow, but I try to balance it with self compassion and focus on my own progress. It helps keep the work authentic and true to myself.
Okay, what do you compare yourself to most, and how does that affect your work?
I think I tend to compare myself to other people who are really creative and innovative, which can be motivating, but sometimes it can add a bit of pressure. I try to use that comparison as a way to push mine all forward and to learn. But I also remind myself that everyone has their own path. So it definitely influences my work by inspiring me to grow, but I try to keep it in a healthy balance.
Okay, how has your creative voice changed over time?
I think my creative voice has definitely evolved as I've gained more experience and confidence. I've become more comfortable letting my personality shine through and embracing a bit of vulnerability in my work. I also think I've become more open to experimenting and taking risks, which has made my voice more distinct and authentic. It's the fun journey.
Okay, what makes your perspectives valuable or different from others?
I think what makes my perspective unique is the combination of the experiences I've had and the way I approach curiosity and creativity with a bit of positivity and humor. I also try to bring a sense of empathy and relatability into everything I do, which hopefully makes it resonate a bit more with people. It's all about sharing a little bit of that personal touch.
What does authenticity look like in your creative journey?
Authenticity for me means being true to my own voice, values, and experiences, even when it's tempting to follow trends or fit into a certain mold. It looks like sharing my genuine thoughts, being open about my journey, including the ups and downs, and not being afraid to let my personality shine through. It's all about staying real and connected to what truly matters to me.
How can you cultivate more consistency in your creative practices?
I think consistency comes from building a routine that feels sustainable and enjoyable, setting small, achievable goals and creating a habit of showing up regularly, even if it's just a little bit each day, really helps. I also find that keeping myself inspired and accountable, maybe by connecting with a community or tracking my progress, helps a lot. It's all about making it a part of my lifestyle rather than a chore.
Okay, what steps can you take today to nurture and strengthen your unique voice?
I think a great step would be to set aside a little dedicated time to reflect on what truly matters to me and what makes my perspective unique. Also, seeking feedback from people I trust can help refine that voice. And just consistently practicing and experimenting, while staying true to myself, would definitely strengthen it over time.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you ever have any more questions or just want to chat, I'm here. Have a great day.